How to knit the slip stitch selvage edge, English style. For this tutorial, you will need a pair of knitting needles and a ball of yarn. Special thanks to our sponsor Mountain Meadow Wool for providing today's yarn. Today we are using their Laramie line in the color Prairie. Selvage edges are used for a couple of reasons. One, they can add stability to the sides of your edge and keep them from curling, especially when you're dealing with stockinette. It makes it easier for you to pick up stitches if you're going to knit another direction or add stitches on or a border later. And it gives you a nice clean looking edge to your work. In this case, we're using a slip stitch selvage edge, which consists of slipping a stitch and then pulling it up onto the next row. This creates sort of a chain-like edging on the side. And there are a few different ways to do this with varying degrees of success. My favorite way to do that works like this. When you're working stockinette on your right side of your fabric, so the arrow side or flat side, you're going to slip the first stitch knitwise. So this would be step one. Okay? And then you'll work until you get to the last stitch in your row. Now when we get to the last stitch in our row on the right side of our fabric, for step two, we're going to knit this stitch through the back loop. So instead of coming this way with our knitting needle, we're going to come this way, purlwise, but through the back, and we'll knit that normally. Okay, so this is twisted that stitch. For step three, we're going to twist the stitch back by slipping the next stitch purlwise. So we'll insert our needle purlwise and we will just not work the stitch at all. Then you'll continue working until you reach the last stitch on the wrong side of your fabric, which is the bumpy side or the purl side of the stockinette. Now this stitch is going to work best on stockinette when you're doing your selvage edge. There are other selvage edgings for other types of fabric. And when we get to the last stitch on our wrong side of our fabric, we're going to purl through the back loop. So this one's a little bit tricky. Instead of going into this front leg, we're going to come into the back leg of the stitch. Okay, so we're going to come around the back and insert purlwise. Okay, and then we'll purl that as normal. So again, we're not coming into the center of the stitch, we're coming around the back leg and going into the loop that direction and then purling. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to it. We'll just repeat these 4 steps and you'll get a nice chain-like edge on your fabric. So this is going to be great for using in scarves, again for picking up stitches later or adding a border, and to give your stockinette fabric a little bit more stability to keep it from curling. So that's how we knit the slip stitch selvage edge. Want more New Stitch a Day? Join our VIP email list to get every stitch directly to your inbox. Sign up today at newstitchaday.com/VIP.